Again, this is something that I think we need to train our learners more on, and that's recognition. You've heard me say use words, use general formula, because it's something your learners can peg concepts onto, and it helps with recognizing a question. So when they're presented a problem, they should be thinking, what am I working with? What topic is it? What section of work? And what type of question, which can obviously be tricky. So if we have a look at this example, a company has two shareholders who invested 300,000 and 500,000. The company's annual return of 1.2 million must be shared according to the shareholders' investment ratio. How much does each shareholder receive? So the question already tells us, what topic are we working in? We're working in ratio, so that must be our basic skill, numbers and calculations. The specific section is ratios, but now a learner needs to understand and recognize there are different kinds of ratio questions. So this question they should peg as a sharing and dividing question. So remember, recognition is key. If they can't recognize a question, they can't even attempt to get it right. This leads us to how do we teach recognition? And for me, it's summary pages. Now, please don't freak out. It's not something you necessarily have to do in class, but it's a way that helps our learners make connections that maybe they didn't make throughout the learning process. It helps to consolidate the work, and it helps them to label it. So what I like to do is once you've finished a section, you say to your learner, okay, for homework today, I would like you to go and look over the whole section and do a 1 or 2 page mind map or flow diagram. Now remember, you've got to stress, particularly with the girls somehow, that it's not a matter of rewriting the notes in tiny little font so that they can get it onto 2 pages. It's about presenting the work in a summary way that they can then look at before they walk into an exam. So they need to have short, sharp points, key terms. They need to include typical questions and methods with examples if they feel the need. They can use word-based general formula, and they can highlight differences and similarities. So I'm not sure if you've ever used this, but I thought I would share an example on ratios. It's something that you can print out for your learners, they can use for the first time, and then you can train them to do it themselves. So you'll see that I have put dotted lines so they can fill it in. So it's an interactive learning process again, if you choose to use this. Remember, if we just give them worksheets, it just gets stuffed into their bag. If we're lucky, they stick it into their book, but we need to make learning active. So back to the summary. So for ratios, remember definition. So that's key terms. We need to emphasize order is important. There's a difference of 1 to 4 versus 4 to 1. So here, when a learner's doing it, do they actually understand it? Then equivalent ratios is a different subsection of ratios. Can they define it? The method, they need to multiply or divide both values by the highest common factor. There they can include an example for themselves. When simplifying ratios, well, they may get 5 different kinds. They might need to simplify a whole number, a decimal, a fraction ratio. They might be given a ratio in different units, which could be under rates, but if they need to convert here and then put it in the same ratio. And again, unit form, which often comes up in exams. Unit form, 1 as to something. Then, the 2 main kinds of ratio questions are a missing value ratio and sharing and dividing in a ratio. So you can see a learner needs to, how do they recognize it? What are they looking for in their question? For a missing value ratio, they need to recognize they're given the ratio of 2 quantities and the value of 1 quantity, and then they need to find the missing one, either by multiplying or dividing by the highest common factor. Whereas with sharing and dividing, again, they're given the ratio of 2 quantities, same as that one, but this time they're given the sum or the total of the quantities, and now they need to share in that ratio. So a typical example, very similar, but it helps learners recognize. So I have a box of Smarties. There are red to blue Smarties in the ratio of 3 to 5. If there are 12 red Smarties, how many blue? Whereas compare, same box of Smarties, same ratio, but this time they say there are 24 Smarties in total. How many blue ones? So a learner can learn to understand the nuances of the section, but obviously they need to understand the basics before they can run.
If you found this video useful, give it a like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any new episodes. Follow us on Instagram or Facebook to stay on top of the latest TAS news and launches. So that's it for now from the Answer Series, your key to exam success.